figure it out. Okay, co-host. See if that works. Okay, she joined. Okay, where are ya? Our friends. Okay, so should go on now.
You'll connect using audio only.
Okay, but did you?
Well, no there to add the camera, Bruce. That's our problem. We don't.
Okay, Dawn, did you guys try going live on your end, or you don't have that option on your phone at all? Oh, there you are. Okay, but no sound now. I can't hear you. So there's no volume now.
No, because I don't know how to go to that screen.
Oh,
okay.
I got you.
Go.
I got you.
Now you're there.
I got you. I told you we'd figure it out, girl.
Oh,
I told you we'd figure it out.
Oh.
We don't know if we don't try, right? So what did you have to push?
It's right. It's kind of like the, it reminds me of the watermelon video. We were trying to figure out how to use the watermelon cutter.
I still have not watched that video.
I've moved it up to the top of my videos now because it had 1.3 million views.
Wow. Can you imagine if we could just get everyone to just do $1 donation for these kids?
You know what? I posted that under the video. Like, if everybody who watched that video donated $1, that new orphanage could be built tomorrow.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's the little things. Everyone always wants to do these big donations. Just do $1. $1, 10,000 people, you know.
I know. Well, that's why I said, even with buying a book, right? If you buy a book, I'm not taking any money. You're getting a book, and then the proceeds are going to the orphanage.
Yeah.
So, or even donating the sales of one book that, for authors who have sold books, donate the proceeds from one book sale. That would be wonderful.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, how many books do you have in total, Dawn?
I have 15, and then some of them are translated into French.
Okay.
And then I have 2 that are bilingual, French, English, and Spanish, English.
So you have 2 that are in French and English?
Yeah, they're bilingual. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how many did you say were translated?
Let me think. Reese's First Fishing Trip is in French and Spanish. So there's an English version, a Spanish version, and a French version. And then Hairpiece has an English version and a French version. I think, and So Ahmed Hears has an English version and a Mongolian version.
Oh, look at that.
Yes, I had the Rotary Club in Mongolia translated that one when I was living there, when I was teaching there. So I'm trying to think of any others. Hairpiece has been translated into Bassa, which is a local African language here.
Okay.
But it hasn't been published yet in Bassa.
Okay. And all the books are on Amazon, right?
Yes, they are. Yeah, they're on Amazon worldwide. So if you went on to the Amazon UK site, they're there. If you went on to the Amazon Canada site, they're there.
Okay.
But they're also on Barnes & Noble. They're on Indigo Canada. They're on Hive, which is a bookstore, online bookstore in the UK. They're on Blackwell's, Waterstone, Walmart. They're on Booktopia and Book Depository. I don't think any others. Those are the big ones that I can think of off the top of my head. But if you actually go to the link tree on my Instagram account,
Okay.
you'll see all of the books listed. And then when you click on a particular book, there's a multi-link. And so the multi-link opens up numerous sites where you can find that particular book. I tried to make it easy.
Well, it's easy with the link tree, right? Because then they just click on the link and then they got it all.
Right, and you can either click on my website or you can click directly on the book that you're interested in, and it'll take you, there's a whole list, a drop-down list of different sites, and so you can click on your favorite, if you like to order everything from Blackwell's. If you're in the UK, you can click on that, or if you like to order them from Indigo Canada, you can click on that.
Yeah. Now,
so what kind of tea are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking a Jack and what is it? Jack and Jane? No, Jane and Jack. I don't know. The jungle tea. It's a jungle tea. I actually added some cream and sugar to it because it tasted really woody. I guess it's because it's Tarzan, right? And
it's Tarzan?
Yeah. Well, I get these teas in the mail. It's called Dollar Tree, and I get a subscription every month. They're $7.99. They send you different teas, right? And so each month you get 3 teas for $8. And some of the teas are really, really woody, and then some of them are really flavorful. But the ones that are really woody, I always add a little bit of sugar and milk to them. And I'm just like, yeah, let's just kind of take that wood taste away.
So by woody, it tastes kind of like you're drinking the plant.
Yeah, well, it almost tastes like you're drinking bark, right? It's like they scrape the tree and they're like, yeah. So, yeah. So I've added a little bit of sugar. It's my first time drinking this one, so.
Okay, I actually have a mint licorice one. It's really nice.
Oh, that sounds good. I love mint tea.
If you like mint and licorice, yeah.
Well, I'm not too fond about licorice. Yeah, licorice is not one of my, if it's like the black licorice, I'm like, ugh. Yeah, reminds me of my dad. My dad used to chew on that all the time.
Those old black licorice cigars with the little red beads on the end.
Little beads. Yeah, we used to think we were smoking when we were kids, like smoking with those cigars. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like the old Popeye cigarette candies.
Oh yeah, those? I used to buy those because well, I'm the non-smoker in the family, so I used to try and fit in with everyone, right? Or I bought the chocolate cigarettes where they had like the different rolls on the paper, and I would just yeah, I was just like, I'm still smoking with you guys. I'm just not smoking the smoke.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's the old stuff, right? The little things that matter, like to really make a difference.
Sure.
So you're coming back to Canada when, Dawn?
Next Thursday. It's coming really fast now. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if you can hear. There's kind of an echo in here because the place is pretty empty, and we take the cats on this Thursday to get their checkup. And and then wind down. The school year is coming quickly to an end.
And you guys have been there how many years?
4.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's going to be a big adjustment for you again.
Well, I mean, we left the Northwest Territories 16 years ago. So going from the temperature here hovers around between 24 and 29 Celsius. So the -40, -50 is going to be a bit of a shock to the system.
Yeah, especially the cold, right? Ah, what is this?
Yes, actually, I sold my parka. I had this lovely goose down parka that we bought from Sears,
Oh,
and I've had it for years and years and years, and sold it when we were leaving Mongolia to come to Africa. So I'm gonna have to invest in a new parka.
yeah. Now the videos that you've been putting on Facebook, Dawn, is that the school? Are they building the school, or is that another location?
No, that's a lot right next door to our apartment building.
Oh,
So when we first moved here, we were in a different apartment building. It was over by the golf course. And then they moved us here because some of the staff have children. So this apartment has a swimming pool in the back. So the lot next door was just this lovely, well, I wouldn't exactly say it was lovely, but it was an empty lot. And it actually fluctuated between kind of lovely and not, because there was some kind of a cement shack thing, and there was always a big puddle of water in front of it with oil. You could see like oil on the top of the
oh,
water. But some of the locals would go in there and they would plant corn. There would be banana trees sometimes. So you'd see the birds flying around in there, and then you'd hear frogs. So whoever owns that lot has decided to build.
okay.
But we're pretty sure that the lot is on a water table, and that's why there was always water sitting there. So they went in with bulldozers, and this is when I started videoing and taking pictures. They went in with bulldozers and started digging, and then the water level just got higher. And then they started digging along next to where our apartment building is, and our driveway runs along there. So
Okay.
our wall fell off when they dug too close to the wall. So the dirt was very soft because of the water, and our wall just crumbled over.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they had to work on that. They had to actually put something up to hold the wall so because our driveway started falling off. So we had to park on the road. None of the cars could come down to park behind the building because we didn't have a driveway anymore. So they had to build up underneath, and then along where the driveway was so that we could actually have a driveway again. And so that took a long time just for them to get on top of that and figure out, kind of where the water was. I don't even know if they figured out where the water's coming from, but now, even with this building more or less being built, if you look at the pictures in the video on the left-hand side, underneath now where there is a cement roof, it's all water.
Oh my
So
goodness.
we were wondering what they were going to do with that water. They made some little individual cubbies, kind of. My friend who studied engineering previously said that they're called bathtubs, but the water was murky and dirty, and a lot of the debris from them building fell into it. And I don't even know if they cleaned it out before they put this roof on top. So we're not sure what that part of the building is going to be. But here in Cameroon, there's a lot of mosquitoes. There's malaria
Yeah.
mosquitoes, and mosquitoes love water. So
Yeah.
we don't know if they've completely enclosed that water. We don't know, because we know they've had pumps in there trying to pump it out, and they've tried so many different things, but I honestly don't know what the final solution was before they put that cover over top of it.
So, do you know what
But
they're
it's
building
interesting.
there?
I've never been this close to a building being built,
Yeah.
and especially here where everything's been done by hand. So, you'll have the water buckets going down the row of men being passed back down and then back again. And it's the same with the cement right now. They have this, looks like quite an antiquated cement maker on top. And so you'll see them with the wheelbarrows bringing the dirt, make the cement, and then fill the buckets, and the buckets are being passed along depending on where they're working. So it's really quite fascinating to watch.
Oh, I'm back.
Not sure what happened there.
Yep, I'm not sure either. I think they got tired and they were like, whoop, whoop. This technology, I'm telling you, like we're so old school, Dawn, that it's not funny. Like, I'm sure people laughing at us trying to figure this stuff out.
But no, for me, it's been quite fascinating because we just look out our back window, right? And now even our cats are getting really antsy because before the men were way down low and now they're
Yeah.
almost at eye level with us. So the cats are wondering what's going on, right?
Wow. So, do you guys have a location for the orphanage, or you have to still find a location?
No, the government has actually given them some land. Sister Simone told me it's about 7 kilometers from where they are right now.
Okay. Well, that's not too bad, eh?
So I'm not sure if it's 7 kilometers further. So now it'll be about 87 kilometers outside Yaoundé, or 7 kilometers closer. I'm not sure. She told me it's 7 kilometers from where they are right now. So they have the land, but they have no money for the building.
So do they have contractors if the money was there?
Oh, it wouldn't be that hard to find one. So what's happened, our business manager at the school where I am, has now opened an account at local bank here.
Okay.
So once the donations go into the Go Get funding, I can transfer that into the bank account in Canada and then transfer it easily into the account here. So it's a much smoother way to do the transactions, because right now, when all the funds that are in there right now, I'm giving all of that to the business manager in local currency to put into the bank account.
Oh, yeah.
So right now I've already given him everything that was, sorry, I'm just going to look this up. I've already given him everything that was raised from the bake sales. That's already with him. And the nice thing is he's arranged for 3 signatories on the account.
Okay.
So all of them have to sign off when the funds are released.
Okay.
And one of the things I've done with the fundraiser now is I talked to the Go Get funding people, and they recommended doing it in phases. So we're looking at, how much do we need for the foundation, for the orphanage, and the schools.
Well, that might be a better way of going at it, Dawn, too, because then you have the stages of, okay, this was raised for this, now get this done, get this done.
Well, no, the thing is with that, once the money's raised and we know we have the money for the foundation, we're still not going to start the building. Because one of the things you have to understand about Cameroon, if you look at the videos where I'm videotaping this lot next door, you will see there's a white building next to us that is incomplete. So it looks nice on the outside, but it's never been finished.
Oh, yeah, I remember you sending me a picture of that.
Right. There's a building right on the other side of that lot that is empty, incomplete. If you look down the road, you'll see another building higher up that's incomplete. And if I were to videotape one building over from us to the right, there's also an empty building. So what happens here is people will start building these buildings and then they don't have enough money to finish. So they just sit here empty. And it's sad because the city is dotted with these empty buildings, incomplete buildings all over the place. So my concern is if we raised enough the funds for the foundation, but then don't raise the rest, they're going to have a foundation sitting on that land, and that's it. So what we've decided is that no funds will be released until the total amount has been raised, and then it will be released for what it needs to be done for, because another issue here is if you give all the money, then someone might just go and buy the cheapest materials and then keep some of the money for themselves.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So you really have to control how it's done. And like my colleagues, when they've had renovations done on their houses, they have to be there to see if they ordered a certain kind of tile, that they actually went and bought that tile.
Wow.
And then they make sure that it's all put in, right? Mm-hmm. So it has to be a very I hate to say it, but a regimented process. So they've asked me to write a letter and sign it that no funds are to be released until the total amount has been raised for module 1, which is the dormitories and the school, so the classrooms. So that's what we're looking at right now. So I've put the amount for the foundations right now, and then we'll look at phase 2, which would be, the walls, the windows. I'm trying to get them to tell me, like, what should I put in each phase?
Yeah.
So it makes sense, right? And then the final thing would be the furnishings, make sure that there are beds and desks and whiteboards or chalkboards,
Yeah.
But it's until you live here and you actually see what's going on and understand more how things are done, I think that's why it's really good that I am here. So I know that we need to have a really good process in place, so that it's done properly. We don't want a few years down the road that the roof starts leaking. They're already living in the old chicken factory, right?
I can't believe that those kids are in the chicken factory.
The chicken factory was like that when it was built, but it's really old now. So we're having a lot of rain right now. Like, it just comes down in buckets. And the children have explained that in the videos where they're signing that when it rains, they actually have to move the beds and try to hide from the rain because it's coming down through the ceilings in their bedrooms, right? So it's sad. I mean, you don't really get a feel for what it's like unless you are here and you actually see it. And because I've been there and I've seen it, and I know how challenging it is to live in Cameroon. There are people walking around with shoes on their heads, selling shoes, stacks of towels on their heads. We see people in traffic all the time with car accessories. So they have windshield wipers hanging from them. They have their car foot mats hanging over their shoulders, and these kids, they're deaf. So imagine them trying to walk up and down among the traffic.
Yeah, and I don't understand why no one is grabbing at this. Like, we reached out to so many different people and no one is grabbing. Like, it's almost like the ignorance. They say they want to change the world and help people, but they honestly don't want to.
I don't think that it's ignorance, but I think who am I, right? Okay, this lady named Dawn is in Cameroon. And
you're somebody. You're special. Like,
I know, but people don't know me, right? And so we both know there's a lot of fraud. There's a lot of scams. And that's why I've been wanting to put more, like, I've got the children on the fundraiser. They can see me with Sister Simone, and I've shown the money that's been raised from bake sales and all that, so that people see that this is real. It's not just this lady is saying she needs this money for the orphanage, but does she really? No, I do. And that's why even having the school involved now, so we have the bank account, like, we have all these things in place so that there's a paper trail. Even for me getting these donations, I've told the business manager, I need receipts to show that the money that came to me went into that bank, so that, people aren't assuming that I've just taken this money, because I don't want the money, and we were talking about this previously, that even I don't need my name on this,
You're like me, I don't need my name on it, I just want it done. Just get it done.
No, and that's what makes it really quite challenging for me, Liz, even promoting it and asking people to buy a book or donate, because that asking people for help is not me. I love helping, but it's really hard for me to say, please help. But if it was for me, that would be different, but it's not for me. I'm doing it for these kids. And in a way, it's made it a bit easier, but it's still really challenging. It's frustrating. I have a whole roller coaster of emotions from day to day, week to week, because honestly, there's moments where I just say, you know what, this isn't going to happen. I've just got to say, I'm sorry, I can't do it. But then I just think of these kids. And it's like,
Well, and I feel that way too.
If I don't
That
fight for them, who's going to do it, right?
yeah, and that's why I keep pushing you. I'm like, no, you're not giving up. No, we're gonna try this, and I'll knock on every freaking door. I don't care if they hate me afterwards. These kids need this orphan. They need a home. It's fair for them too. Like these kids are deaf. Like I don't get it. You know, I really don't get it.
Well, honestly, I keep thinking of this one GoFundMe where somebody had posted he wanted to travel with his cat around the world, and the funds that he got for that.
I know, it's ridiculous.
How can you?
How can you support something like that, but you can't support deaf children who need a school and need a home to live in? Like, I don't get it. I really don't. I'm like you some days, Dawn. I'm just like, you know what? Everything I do, why am I doing it? Like, what? Who is it benefiting? Like who is it really helping? Like, people say they want to help, but they don't, you know?
Well, and honestly, even with my books, I mean, I have loved getting published. I will not deny that. It has been a thrill. I feel blessed that I've been able to have 15 books published. I love reading my books to the kids. I love hearing them giggle. I love it when the teachers come and tell me that they've used my books in their classes. But honestly, if it wasn't for the orphanage, I wouldn't even be pushing my books. It would be like, okay, if you find my book and buy it, awesome. But, you know, the only reason I'm really promoting them and pushing them is because
for the school.
I would love to get this money raised. And I just think, again, as a book, you know, I'm not asking you give me money. I'm saying buy a book for somebody as a gift. And the proceeds, 100% of what I earn on that book is going into this account. You know, and I've had people, I mean, they've had good reviews. So it's not just me saying, you know, buy my book, it's a great book.
Yeah.
You know, they've had good reviews, and teachers have told me that they're using them. They're all in our school here. I've donated most of them, but the librarian has also bought several. And some of the teachers have ordered them for their classroom libraries. So they are here, but again, that's only one school out of how many in the world, right?
Yeah, there is so many out there.
They are also on Mallory International, which is an online store where librarians and schools can order books. And they're also on, call it Tidal Wave, which is also where schools can order books. So, you know, a lot of this I've had to find, well, you know, what are some other sites? And then I've reached out to them, and they are listed. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, Liz.
Yeah. We just need a magic wand. Somebody who's watching this TikTok live, you know, if you know anybody that wants to help these deaf children out, Dawn is trying to build an orphanage for these kids. So anyone that's jumping on, if you know somebody, $1 from every person that is following me. I have over almost 12,000 followers. If you all donated $1, it would make a difference, you know. You don't have to do big donations. Little donations lead to big things, you know. So, and anyone who's jumping in, I do see you popping in and out. If you want to check out Dawn, check out Dawn. If you want more information, reach out to me and ask me. Like, we're trying to raise this money for these kids. So, and we're not giving up. Well, we're gonna kick the doors down. We're gonna get it done. Like, I'm gonna push you, Dawn, and you're gonna push me, and that's just what we do. Is we push each other back and forth.
You know, Liz, when I was invited to speak as the charge, what's the charge?
What am I getting charged?
I was on the brochure for the agenda for the National Honor Society's inauguration ceremony. And I'm like, I'm the charge? What is that? When you're invited to be the charge, you're basically the inspirational guest speaker.
Oh.
So they want you to give the kids the charge to go out and do something amazing, you know, something to help. And so that I was the charge. And I mentioned that even when I leave Cameroon, you know, these books are still going to be raising the money, and that had a round of applause from the kids. the director at the school and even the accountant, the business manager, I think they were surprised when I said, no, this is something that's going to continue even when I leave the country, because I really want to see this happen. And yeah, they seemed a little bit amazed that, why would you still be bothering with this when you're not even here anymore? But I just, they said, Sister Simone says, once the money's raised and we can actually build the orphanage, we want you to come back. It's like, but I don't need to be here. Yeah. I'll love seeing pictures. Honestly, I would love to be here to see the kids' faces. But it's not an absolute necessity, for me, it will be fulfillment to know that it's happened and to see those children moved out of that disintegrating chicken factory. Really, truly.
Yeah. I still can't believe that they're in chicken.
Imagine to have a decent bathroom. We really take advantage of that. It's like we have flushing toilets. They have holes in the ground, and I don't know if you saw the picture where the rainstorm and that knocked down the walls, so their bathroom was destroyed.
Yes, I did see that. Yes,
what bathroom they had, and it's just, and the girls, they have a cemented in room to shower. You imagine being 13, 14, 15, and you have to go into this little room to have a shower. The boys have to shower with a hose on a little cement pad outside because that's what they have, right? So I don't know. I just think there's so many things that we have that we are used to that we take for granted. And when you see these kids living in these conditions, they're most of them are orphans. Some of them are not orphans, but their families live so far away, so they do come and stay there. That's even some of the deaf children, they might have a family further away, so this is the only place that they can go where they can get the education. And they have started taking in some hearing children now, hearing orphans, because there's nowhere nearby for them. But it's just, I don't know, it breaks my heart.
It does. And we're knocking, like we're out there pushing, and reaching out to people, and we're just not getting any responses. So
I get a lot of congratulations. I get a lot of, oh, what an amazing project. But the words are nice, but the action
would be nicer.
It speaks much louder than the words. Yeah. Truly.
That's what I say. I say words mean nothing if the action's not there.
Well, I appreciate the words, definitely. But
well, yeah, we appreciate the words. It's just, it would be nice to say, congratulations, here's $5, It's not much. That's all I have at this time. If anybody would do that, like even $1, we would get this going. We would move it forward. But I don't understand why it's not moving,
I was actually really saddened by a comment that an author wrote to me when I posted this whole, it's helping me to pay it forward one book at a time. And they said, writers don't make any money. We can't help you. Good luck. And it's like, oh.
Wow.
It's not true, because I see people posting all the time that they're bestsellers. I am far from being a bestseller. No way. So if you're a bestseller, to me that means that you've done pretty good, right?
Yeah.
And then I've had people. I was on Clubhouse. I can't get onto Clubhouse anymore. It's not accepting my phone number to log in. And the customer support's been trying to fix that for months now. But even when I was on Clubhouse, people would say, "Oh, $450,000. That's not very much." It's like, okay.
Then where is it?
Much, please help.
Me, I get frustrated when I see people investing in all this nonsense stuff. It's like you said, like with the cat and the guy that went around the world. Like, we're talking about children here. Why can't we help these kids?
I don't know. I don't know what else I could say. I don't know if I'm not saying it the right way. I
Well,
don't know what else
I think
could
you
do.
are, like, you're speaking from the heart, like, and you're, you know, like, you're doing this because you love these kids, Dawn, and it's not about, you know, a reward or I did this, you know, kind of pat on the back, because
Honestly, I went.
you're like me, like, I don't want any recognition. If I get it, okay, thank you, I appreciate it, but that's not what I was doing it for.
No, I went on a humanitarian trip to Vietnam in 1997 to a school for the deaf. And, you know, I still carry that experience with me. It was my first time out of Canada. I was a young audiologist, and I basically went there with a film crew because the man who spearheaded the whole project, Bob Karkner, he used to be a teacher and then a principal, and then he started a global education project where he took students to Guatemala and to Vietnam. Amazing, amazing work. So they were doing a documentary on him. It was actually on the Knowledge Network called A Man Called Bob. And so Bob was trying to get a team to go to Vietnam, similar to Doctors Without Borders. And so he had sent out a fax at that time to the different clinics. I was working in a private clinic at the time. So the fax came through to our clinic. I did not have a passport. We were a young family, you know, didn't have a lot of money. So I said, you know, I can't afford to go to Vietnam and I don't have a passport, but I will see what I can do to help you. So I got him 100 refurbished hearing aids from Starkey. Amazing. That company is so supportive. I also got the cases, the cleaning tools, batteries. I had an audiometer to take. I had a tympanometer to take. And so I said, okay, we've got this equipment and all these supplies. You just need your team. So he was still trying to get this team together. And then I got an email one day. The Rotary, local Rotary Club, has agreed to fund you to go to Vietnam. Would you like to go? It was like, this was, I think, 2 weeks before they were going. I did not have a passport. So they actually managed to get me the passport, and off we went to Vietnam. And wow, I mean, culture shock, you name it, right? But I still, to this day, Liz, remember as our van drove into the grounds of the orphanage, those little children running out to greet us, you know, and as we took everything into the building, they were right next to us, following us into the building. And when I was in the room setting up the equipment, their little faces were up against the window, just watching, you know, and waiting for their turn. Amazing. It was just, they wanted me to retest the children to see if they were testing their hearing correctly. They had a fellow there who was making ear molds for them. The work they were doing was just fabulous. And again, it was Catholic nuns. They were just doing this, you know, because they loved these kids. They wanted to help these kids. And there was one father, he had brought his daughter back 200 kilometers. They came knowing that we were going to be there. And I took a body hearing aid off of this young girl. She was 12 or 13, and put ear level hearing aids on her. The father picked up Bob and spun him around. I have never forgotten that. I mean, just the joy, the gratitude, you know. So anyway, while we were there, then they wanted to interview me. And by nature, Liz, I am an introvert, and nope, don't want to be interviewed. Don't want to be in the public eye. So they actually were going out to the Mekong Delta, and they were going to do some filming there. But I ended up getting really sick with pleurisy. So I didn't end up being able to go. I thought I was going to die in Vietnam. I was so sick. I thought I had a really bad case of bronchitis, but it ended up I had pleurisy. So anyway, fortunately we were with an ENT team, so they were able to get me antibiotics and had me on stuff until I got home to Canada. But it was raining this one day. They were going to, we're going to interview you today. It was like, oh. And then it started raining, and I was like, oh, phew, because it was too noisy with the rain. But they did manage to corner me another day before we left. And it was on the Knowledge Network. I never saw the interview with me until it had already been on TV.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But that was such an amazing, anybody who can do humanitarian work, it's worth it. It's just, it brings you such an incredible sense of joy. And that's what I'm trying to tell people with this project. When I was on Clubhouse, there were a lot of rooms I went into where people were talking about all this money they had and they wanted to give it away. And, I would speak up, but the problem with my project is you're not going to get any kickback from it. You're not going to get any money out of this.
Yeah.
The money is going to go
they always
into
want
the
that
building,
return, right?
and so you're not going to get anything back. So what I saw a lot was that they would give the money to somebody who wanted to start a business, and then they would get some money out of that business. Well, the only thing you're going to get out of this
is happy
joy
kids.
that you help these kids. And I'm honest about that. You're not going to get paid. You're not going to, and I have had some wonderful people come forward on Twitter who have like book promotion things, and they've done it for me for free, just to try and get my books discovered and help with this. So I am so grateful, to these people who have gone out of their way to help that way, because normally they'll charge, some of them want to charge $200 to promote one of my books. I have donated $200 for my books. Honestly, that's what I've been able to donate so far. I'm not a bestseller, and I'm honest about that. So I raised probably more already from my baking. When I took a bunch
you've
of
done a lot of
bake
sales.
And people gave donations. I wish I had been doing that with my baking for the last 3 years, because I love to bake. It's a passion. And so I take it to my colleagues and they have it, right? So when I think now how much money maybe I could have made for the orphanage if I had done that sooner. But again, it wasn't me wanting to make money off my baking. I just did it because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But now in hindsight, I think, wow, maybe between December, I did a baking donation in December. And then in March, because it's my birthday on International Women's Day. And then I did another one in April. And we raised, I'm trying to think now because it's in CIFA. I'd have to look at my document. But we raised 91,000 CIFA at Christmas and then over 100 the other 2 times. So the baking actually did really well. What I'm thinking I might do is take pictures as I'm handing the money to our business accountant so people can see that, there's the exchange of money. I don't know. Do you have any ideas, Liz? Because
I was thinking, what if we got the Canadian schools here, like the children, to feel like they've done a humanitarian act and donate $1, like kind of have the schools in Canada or United States kind of raise the money by having these kids be part of a humanitarian act. Like, there's got to be something Liz, we can do.
If the schools purchase the books for their libraries,
exactly,
that would help. Because they wouldn't have to donate anything to me. They would buy the book and the proceeds would go.
And they could use the books in their classrooms.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's what I've been, because when I'm hashtagging, I'm now hashtagging librarians and teachers and, trying to get more people on board with that. Even because I'm an English as a second language teacher, I have books that are bilingual. I have books that are translated into other languages. So I'm trying to even share the word with them. Like, if you're looking for another bilingual English-Spanish book, here's one. If you're looking for another bilingual English-French book, here's another one, right? And I am right now I've written another book about Cameroon.
Okay.
And I've got some things in the works with that. I'm hoping that either it's going to be picked up by a publisher, or I've been in touch with an illustrator who might be interested in doing the illustrations, but then we need to still look at the publishing.
Yeah.
because I'd like it done as a humanitarian project. So there's no upfront costs. If I have to pay a whole bunch of upfront costs, that defeats the purpose of me trying to donate what I can to the fundraiser, right?
Yeah.
So there is some interest possibly in that, and that would be really exciting if that happens, because then that means all of the proceeds from that would also go to the orphanage. And then Hairpiece, which has been translated into Basa, my colleague is right now trying to find a local publisher here who might be interested in publishing it at no upfront costs. And then all the proceeds from that book being sold here in Cameroon would go to the fundraiser.
Yeah.
So we do have things in the works that, hopefully, there's a businessman from Vancouver. He's doing art for humanity. And
yes, I did check that one out. Yes, I did.
Chosen.
Yeah, I checked them out. Well, when I went to check them out on Twitter, I was like, oh my God, there's so many of these guys. I had to actually send you the picture to see if I had the right one. But there's different ones that I'm looking at as well.
The neat thing with that, though, what's that? Sorry?
I'm like looking at all the different ones too as well, because they might be able to help in some way, do a fundraiser, sell an art piece, even if it's just one picture, whatever money was raised from the auction of that one picture. I know in the grocery stores, they also have pictures that they put in and you can bid on them. And then the highest bidder wins that picture in the grocery store. So I'm just wondering if we did something like that in the local grocery stores and, donations raised for like maybe create a nice poster or something with all of the 15 books and kind of, whoever, there's got to be a way. We have to figure this out. There's something that we're missing because
have you seen the poster that I've made that says paying it forward one book at a time? I've made a poster with all my books. Yeah.
I'm wondering if I get that into the library here. And when people go to the library, because they have like a little.
When I first started the Go Get funding, I didn't think about using my books, and then I thought, I understand that people don't want to donate to a person they don't know, which is me, or to a fundraiser that they feel might not be a real thing, right? I understand that. So that's why I thought, with my books, I'm not asking you for anything. You buy a book, you get a book for someone or for yourself, and the proceeds go to the fundraiser, right? So to me, that is a win-win situation. I'm not asking you for any money, but you're actually getting something, and your money is going to help these kids. So I say it's the books are the gifts that give.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a slogan you could use, the gifts that give, because they are. I mean, if you buy a book for someone as a present, then your present to them is also going to be a gift to these children in the long run, right?
Yeah. Well, that's it, right? Maybe if I print that poster out and I hit the library here and go back to that bookstore again, the Kohl's bookstore here, and tell them, like, look at, like, if people buy this book, the donations will go to this. Maybe they could do a fundraiser, or I could talk to the Chamber of Commerce here and say, like, if we do an event.
Now, is your Kohl's connected to Indigo Canada?
I believe so. The reason that they gave me was because
they're connected.
Because when I went to
Indigo Canada, they have access to all my books because they're on Indigo Canada.
Okay, let me double check with Kohl's here. The issue that they gave me when I went to speak was, well, you're not the author, so does she give you permission for this? And we need consent forms. And I was like, seriously? Like, we're just trying to raise money for kids. Like, can you not just put these amazing books in your store? Like, like, seriously, like, just put the books in your store and people can buy the books. Like, I'm not making any money. I'm just telling you that there's some amazing books out there that will make a difference for these kids in Cameroon, get them an orphanage. But, yeah.
Yeah, and the challenge for me is because I'm not self-published, right? I've used a small
I think that's what the issue
in the
is.
United States. And so getting them into Canada has been really challenging because they also don't have a printer in Canada or anything like that. So my publisher has actually just been bought by somebody else. So I know the new owner is trying to find more innovative ways to get the books out there. So I'm hoping that maybe some things will come out of that. I mean, I really am truly so grateful to the publisher who did take on all my books. I mean, they've done a wonderful job. But it's been the marketing, getting them out there has been, I can't even count the hours that I put into trying to find different sites and do read alouds and interviews and, just trying to find ways to, and this is really out of my comfort zone, even talking to you now. I wouldn't have been able to do this before.
Well, I'm just getting used to this TikTok lives because my son is the one that always says, "Mom, get on TikTok. Like, if you really want to get your tea out there, like, get on TikTok." But I just like having conversations with people and drinking tea and getting to know their stories. So, and then I'm watching all these TikTokers that are just sitting there and listening to music, and people are just like giving lots of loves and likes and gifts, and I'm like, okay, well, you can give me loves and likes too, like.
Well, I was on Read Across America, and I was so nervous. I can tell you the first, because it was over 4 days, and the first group I spoke to, my mouth was so dry from nerves that I didn't think I was going to be able to talk. It got better over the course of the next few days, but I tell you, my nerves were...
Yeah. Well, it's hard when it's on us, right? It's like when I speak, like everybody's like, "Oh, well, you're a public speaker," and I was like, "Yeah, but my anxiety is like through the roof. Like my hands are clammy. I'm like, oh, how am I doing this? Like, okay, am I gonna forget this? Do I need to say this? And I don't. It's not that I don't want to share my story and I don't want to get my story out there. It's hard when it's you sharing your own stuff compared to when you're sharing someone
else. I actually have a hard time when it's me just standing there talking. But when I stop, when I'm finished, and then everybody has questions, then it's easy. But when I'm the one just standing there talking, can't hear you. Yep.
Oh, there you're back.
Yeah, no, it's the thing where you're kind of in the spotlight. Then my nerves are a mess.
Yeah. Well, I've been speaking a lot. I don't post where I'm speaking. A lot of people are like, "Oh, Miss Liz, you're not doing anything." I don't share it. I don't broadcast it. When it comes up, then I share it when it's already done, and But I'm not like, look at me. I don't like that. Like, that's not who I am. Look at the story. Look at the healing. Look at the journey. That's what I'm all about. Like everyone knows. Now everybody's coming after me to write.
I explained to you, when I was at doing the National Honor Society speech, I mentioned that this is really close to me because my dad was an orphan in Canada, and so he never really felt he had a family until he had us.
Yeah.
And then the deaf children, I've been an audiologist for 23 years. So I know how challenging it is for a child who is in, a loving home with their family. And it's still challenging. It's challenging to go to school, So imagine what it's like for these kids who, number one, don't have mom and dad. And then they're living in this place that's just falling apart around them,
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
how many more strikes can you have against you?
Right. Well, and I think I'm really passionate about this project, Dawn, is because I am half deaf, right? So I do know what it is not to hear correctly, the frustrations of, now I'm even starting to read more lips, trying to understand people's lips, but people talk like this, and what? Like, can you open your mouth? Can you open the lips so I can understand what you're saying? Because sometimes if my head is turned a certain way, I can't hear you. And it's really frustrating because then I get, well, turn your hearing aids up. And I'm just like, well, they are up. Like, and they can't get any higher because then I get the tinnitus and the ringing in the ears. And
hearing aids. Hearing aids are not going to fix mumbling.
No, like, can you just open your lips and talk so I can understand what you're saying? But a lot of people are, I'm like, what? And that's how it sounds when I don't have my hearing aids. It's like Scooby and like Snoopy, you know, like the little tweet bird, like what are you saying? Like, I don't understand. And my kids and Paul get really frustrated with me. They're like, well, put your ears in. I'm like, okay, but they bug my ears sometimes. Like, always having your ears plugged with something. I get ear infections a lot. Like, you know.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then the wax build up, so I have to have them cleaned. And my grandma was saying that the same thing too with her hearing aids. She's like she was asking me. She said, "Liz, do you have like a lot of earaches and you know?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, I always have to clean my tips, Grandma. They give me lots of little rubber tips, but I'm also allergic to latex, so I don't know if the tips are latex."
No, they shouldn't be. No.
No way. So I'm not sure what's causing that.
They use silicone. They use well, the harder ear molds are made out of acrylic.
Yeah, I have the newer ones. I have like the little guys.
Yeah. You should actually look at getting the little ones that go over the ear, and there's just the little receiver that goes in.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you meant you had the little ones that go right down into your ear canal.
No.
Ah, okay. Yeah. No, I've just been looking at all the new technology because I'm going to be working as an audiologist again. And wow, it just keeps getting better and better now. Wow.
Yeah, because next year I qualify for new hearing aids. Every 5 years you qualify for them because of the way that I lost my hearing. My hearing was from domestic violence, so it was covered by the government. But next year they say that I am qualified for the new ones, and they're the chargeable ones, so they're not the battery ones. These guys I get maybe
there's rechargeable now. Yes,
I get 2 to 3 days tops, depending if I'm listening to music or whatever. Then the battery sucks the juice faster, so I like to just take my hearing aids out and kind of hear like a muffled music.
Do you have a size? Is yours a size 10 battery? It's the little tiny one, or what size is it?
It's the little guys.
There's a 10. There's a 312.
That I have the 312s.
No, there's. Okay.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, no, there's rechargeable ones now, and some of them the charger actually holds the charge for like 3 days or something. So, wow.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Depending on what I do with my ears, like if I have the Bluetooth on and I listen to music, then I get maybe 2.5 days out of them. But it's a pain because once they die, then, you know, I always have to have batteries on with me. Like if I go somewhere out of town or something, my daughter's wedding, I think because of the music and everything, they were dead at the end of the night, and I had put them in the morning. So each battery's lifespan is different.
When I'm at weddings and that, and the music is loud, I have earplugs in.
Well, that's it. I was turning it down because I couldn't hear the conversation. And this is what I tried telling my kids and that. When the music's playing, I don't hear your voice, I hear the music. So I have to put it into the minuses so that I can actually muffle the music so that I can hear the voices.
Yeah. Even normal hearing people would have difficulty hearing in that environment. Yeah. No, we've actually left events that have been even too loud with my earplugs in. I can feel the music. It's like, nope, we're out of here, and we've left.
Well, that's it, right? When it's too loud, it's
hearing aids so long. I don't want to lose my hearing from loud noise. I'm sorry, no.
Yeah.
But no, I've contacted different companies even about the services here because they don't have adequate services, pediatric audiology services. So I've been trying to see if somebody would even be interested in establishing scholarships to send Cameroonians to get trained as audiologists. And it's just wall.
Yeah.
Could we see about starting an infant hearing screening program? The only issue with that is if you screen all these babies and you have the babies who fail, where are they going to go for follow-up, right? So there's a lot of issues when you look at starting an infant screening program. But the hearing healthcare services here are not great. So that's why I thought, as a starting point, getting these kids into a nice, decent home and school would be a good place to start. They're not going to benefit from hearing aids, probably most of them, if they are truly deaf. But having this new facility would maybe raise awareness, and then maybe people would start saying, oh yeah, this is an area we need to look at. I was talking at the National Honor Society. I said, your country needs audiologists. Those of you who are graduating and going off to university, think about a career in audiology. If you're thinking of a science career, audiology is a scientific career. You have to have your physics. You have to have your calculus, So consider it. I mean, it's a very rewarding career, and they need you here in Cameroon.
So have you tried anything with Here Canada, Dawn?
I contacted the Starkey Foundation. I contacted Hear the World. No, I didn't contact Here Canada.
Yeah, there's got to be somebody, there's got to be one door. We just need that one door, and then the ripple effect just happens, right? Just like dominoes.
Well, and I did contact the deaf celebrity after you mentioned that, but she hasn't responded.
Well, I reached out to every single one that you gave me, every name. I was just like, and I put it right on their tweets. So I was like, I wasn't even messaging them, because most of the ones that have the blue verification click, you can't message them anyway. So you have to leave it on their tweets, right? So I was just like, hey, I have an important question for you. I need some help with this, some direction. Can you help me? Like, I was like just tweeting all over their tweets and nothing. Like, I got one that liked my comment, but that was as far as it went. And I was like, well, I'm just going to keep pushing. And I actually used to watch that show with Switched at Birth with the deaf children in it. With Ryan, I think he gave me Ryan. I'm trying to remember his last name.
Yeah, I don't remember his last name.
The actor from Switch at Birth. And I was just like seriously, can you guys help? He just created a new campaign for hiking shoes or something. I'm just like, proceeds of your hiking shoes, $1 off of each pair of hiking boots, Yeah, I don't know what door we have to kick open, but we're gonna get it open.
What did I watch? I watched a movie last night, Love Guaranteed. Have you seen that?
No.
Well, it's basically about this guy who had gone on 1,000 dates using this online app, and he didn't find love, so he was suing the Love Guaranteed
dating site.
Yes.
Your site don't work. I'm suing you.
Yeah. So anyway, he ended up falling in love with his lawyer. So they were trying to argue that, well, even though you didn't fall in love through our app, you still fell in love by trying to sue us over the app, right? And anyway, in the end, they ended up giving him. He was told the lawyer that he actually didn't want the money for himself. He wanted it to add on a children's hospital. So it was a good cause, right?
Yeah.
And so in the end, they gave them $500,000 for this pediatric hospital. It's like, please, I need to find someone like you.
Well, that's what I said. Once we get that first domino, right? And then it just. But we need that first domino. We need that fall.
Well, I was just thinking, oh, that $500,000, that would be it. We would be building tomorrow. It's like, oh.
Yeah, we just need that domino. We just need to keep pushing doors and kicking doors, and I'm good with a no. If you give me a no, at least you're being honest with me, right? Instead of saying, oh, well, let me think about it and I'll get back to you in a few weeks. And then you never hear from them. Why didn't you just say no to begin with?
Well, yeah. I will persevere. There are definitely days where I think, you know what, I just go throw in the towel on this. And I mean, if it comes to that, then I would just say, you know what, there's money now in the account. Have the deaf school use it for whatever they can, you know, food, bedding, you know, but I don't want to do that yet. I'm just trying not to give up hope, trying to think that it will happen eventually, but I don't know how long I can let it drag on, honestly.
So you were saying that there's a lot of empty
as we're
buildings.
waiting, we're waiting, the kids are growing up and can't stay there anymore, right?
Yeah.
So,
but you were saying there was lots of empty buildings. What if you built on from those buildings that are already started on?
I thought about that, but these buildings are like these apartment buildings that are right near us. So it's not practical, because what she would like is, so you're going to have the orphanage with the dormitories, then you're going to have the classrooms, okay? Then you're going to have the medical clinic and a training center. So the big thing, and an athletics center. So the big thing, though, is this training center, because her dream is to have these kids trained with skills, whether it's to be a seamstress or a tailor, to be a carpenter, so that when they leave the orphanage, they leave with those skills.
Okay.
So that they can live relatively independently, right? Because right now, if they leave there, what are they going to do when they leave there? You know, they're going to try and sell a shoe on their head.
Yeah.
And that's the reality. I mean, we see, I've been into different African countries, and this is the only one where I've seen people walking around. They'll have 1 or sometimes 6 shoes stacked on their head, and then they have the mate for those shoes draped over their arms, or they'll have some in a backpack, and they're walking around selling shoes. Or they'll have a stack of towels, or right now you see guys selling the mosquito nets. So they'll have mosquito nets on their head, and then they'll have a mosquito net to put over your bed that they're holding out for you to see, right? And then the other one, there's the people, you'll see guys walking that have spray bottles hanging all over them. They look like they're a spray bottle tree.
Wow.
You'll see this body, but everything you see is all these bottles hanging around them, right? And or you'll see people walking up and down between the cars selling boxes of Kleenex, boxes of tissue. You know, it's like everyone is trying to get what little they can, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not an easy place to live. And so you can imagine when you have deafness on top of that, right? And you're an orphan. So it's not like you are deaf and your family is taking care of you. You are deaf and you're an orphan. And eventually you have to leave the orphanage because you're too old.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's really sad.
Yeah, I don't know.
But we'll figure it out. We have to, there's something that we have to do. Once we get that first domino, then it's going to fall. It's just to get that first one going. I'm going to check on TikTok and see if there's anything for deafness, like if there's any groups or any TikTokers on here that are deaf that might want to just come and have a conversation with you, Dawn, and, kind of reach out to their people. And there has to be something, I just don't get it. I don't get it at all.
No, I don't either. I mean, it's a sad comparison, really, but even those tragic shootings that just happened in Texas. But there'll be a go get funding for $50,000 for a funeral, and boom, they have the money. And I'm like, I mean, I don't like that as a comparison, but it's shocking if a funeral costs $50,000 for one. But the fact that can be raised overnight, and I have not been able to raise anywhere near that for this orphanage, So I just don't know what else I could do. I don't know. Again, am I not promoting it the right way? I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah. Well, you said the Rotary Club gave you funding for your humanitarian thing with Vietnam, right?
Yeah, and I've had Rotarians have donated to this fundraiser. I've seen their donations come in. So at least 2 Rotary clubs in the U.S. have donated, and then one of the Rotarians donated. I think she donated first and then asked the Rotarians to match her donation, or they donated and then she matched theirs. But no, Rotary has helped. Some Rotaries have helped. But I was in some of the Rotarian clubs on Clubhouse talking about it as well. And
yeah, because I know that
again,
this year
the reality is this is not the only charity in need. This is not the only place in need, right? And
yeah.
So some of these places that I've reached out to, they already have projects in Ghana, and I guess that's what bothers me is I see things happening. You're frozen. I see things happening in Uganda and Kenya and Rwanda and South Africa. So these countries come up quite often where they're getting help, but you never see kids in Cameroon. And it's like, hello,
Yeah.
there's another country here that has need, right? So I don't know. I don't know if it's because it's Cameroon. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, you can say, oh, it's Cameroon, and because of some of the things that go on in Cameroon, yeah, there's corruption here, but there's corruption in most of the countries here.
Well, there's corruption in every country.
That's not me making that statement. That's what I've heard. But but it's why should these kids suffer because of that, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, honestly, if I wasn't coming to work in Cameroon, I probably wouldn't have thought much of Cameroon either. It's not one of the African countries you hear about a lot, right?
Most you don't really hear much about
Uganda, Kenya, Ghana, Ethiopia. They've heard those names, right? Feed the World. It's Christmas time. Those songs and that you heard about Ethiopia. You saw the droughts in Africa and all that. But when do you really hear about Cameroon?
Yeah.
There's countries around us here now that I never really thought about before, but now I know the names because I'm here.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the orphanage. Would I have known that there's deaf children living in an old chicken factory in Cameroon if I wasn't here? Absolutely not. I wouldn't know that.
Yeah, because I
have to donate to Cameroon because these deaf kids are living in a chicken factory? No, because I wouldn't have known about it.
Yeah, because I had Cynthia on from Cameroon too, and for her it was the disability tea time. She's a little person and she has a disability, but she's going out and giving school supplies. Like she's just trying to collect books and pencils for kids, and she's having a hard time too. Because she puts like these school packages together for kids, like a little school bag and stuff.
There was a lady on Clubhouse. What is her name? I can't remember her name, but she was raising money too to build schools in the remoter areas of Cameroon.
Is it Mummy?
And she was asking people to donate backpacks and different things.
Yeah, I think it was Mummy, wasn't it?
Yes, and I said, but it doesn't make sense. You know that I'm here. It doesn't make sense for you to collect backpacks and pencils and everything in the United States and then pay to ship them here when they sell backpacks and pencils and everything here.
Yeah, buy them there.
And she said, but, when I go to buy them there, they want to charge me the white price. Yeah. So then you now know I'm here. I'm at a school and my colleagues are Cameroonian. So they can go and get the Cameroonian price, right? And then you're not paying to ship all that stuff over here. But that discussion didn't go anywhere. I was willing to help. I'm on the ground here.
Yep.
If you want us to help you, I'm in an international baccalaureate school. The kids have service for action requirements in order to graduate. They have to do these projects as part of their graduation requirement. So if we know that there's something like this, these kids can be helping with these things. And that's why the National Honor Society asked me to come and speak, because they want the kids to now think about ways that they can help with this fundraiser, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to start, one of the teachers who's in charge of the grade 10 project, they have to do a personal project in grade 10. She wants to start talking to the kids who are now in grade 8 and start planting the seed. What could you do as a personal project that might help this cause? So that now that the message is going lower to younger kids, so that when they get older, they're, oh yeah, we've got this school for the deaf that our school is connected with. What can we do to help, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hopefully this is not going to take till they get to grade 10, another 2 years to raise the money. But many of the teachers now in our school are more aware that I'm doing this and are trying to come on board now and find ways to help. One of our students who's in grade 12, you froze again. Are you there? One of our grade 12 students approached me in the hallway and said, could you please send me the fundraiser link and all that? Because I'm going away to university and I'm going to see if I can do something at my university that I'm going to.
Well, that's what I'm
So
saying.
she's
Like,
going to be
why
going
can't people be
overseas
doing
to
that?
university.
Like, I don't understand
Well,
whether
that
or not.
student came to me because she was at the National Honor Society presentation, and so she approached me and said, I would like to help with this. I'm going to see what I can do when I head off to university. So I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, if we could get a couple people that are just going to knock on doors too, that might help us, because they might have a connection or they might have a different way of serving it. It might be like you said, Dom. Maybe we're not using the right approach. You know what? Maybe there's a different way of approaching this. Maybe the way that we're doing it is not the way that it should be done. So. But at least we're trying.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm open to suggestions and ideas. I mean, I think it's great that I connected with Simon, and that is really neat because the businessman from Vancouver who's doing the Art for Humanity, his name is Simon, and the Catholic nun who looks after these kids is Simone. Isn't that? I
look at
love
that.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
It's like it was a connection that was meant to be, right? Yeah. So I'm hoping, I don't know when he's going to get over here. He was hoping to come before I left. But I'm not sure when he's going to be arriving. And he said, oh, I'd love you to be there when I come. It's like, I'm not sure that that's going to happen, but
yeah, because you're leaving on
I
Thursday.
I have the people in place, and I'm going to be staying in contact. But he'll know who to talk to, and how to get out to the orphanage and all that when he does come. I'm not worried about that. But maybe that's the thing that'll make it happen. I don't know.
No, it's like I said, we need that first domino, right? And then the rest will just fall. We just need that first guy.
Yeah.
I
just thought when Hairpiece was first published, it was the book that was written here in Cameroon. It had amazing reviews right off the bat. Boom, 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 right? And they're all, I mean, some of them I just couldn't believe. Like, this is a book that every young girl should own. It's like, wow, for an author to hear that, it was like. So I thought that was the book that was really going to take off and just do great things, and it did, and then stopped.
But everyone's writing books now. Everyone, like, I had 2 offers to be in 2 more anthologies, and I'm like, you know what? No, now I'm working on a solo project for myself. It's nice to be in all these anthology books. Like, I'm already in 7 of them. Like, it's time to do my own thing. Wow. Because you don't get anything from these anthologies. You're a co-author,
and you have to pay to be in it, right?
Yeah, and you have to pay to be in them.
So don't you have to pay to be in it? Yeah. I was asked to be in one, and it was like $600. It's like, what?
Yeah, the most I paid was, I believe it was book 1 of Sacred Hearts Rising. I think it was $1,500 to be in that one. So, But we don't,
Wow.
and then we still have to buy our books, right?
And you don't get anything from it.
There's no Rotary. Yeah, like we get no fees, no nothing. And that's why I sat back and I said, you know what? It's time. I've done 7. I've put money. I've invested in everybody else. Now it's time to invest in me, and get my books out there and actually get a royalty back. Like
do that then. But when you do that and you're a contributing author, who makes all the money off the books then?
The lady in the people that compile the books is the one that gets the money. So whoever puts the book together is the one that makes all of the money. Yeah, and I just noticed yesterday because I was because I'm speaking for bereaved families in Ottawa in July, and I was giving her the Amazon link for book 2 because that's where I shared my story on grief, right? The double grief. And I was looking up Sacred Hearts Rising, Finding Your Wings, and all of a sudden I seen Walmart, and I was like, what? She has it in Walmart? She didn't even tell us authors that we were in Walmart? Like, even keep us updated to where you can find the books so we can tell people, like I have like 400 books here because I have to buy a case of books as an author. We get a discount, so I buy a case and I got books here, but nobody wants to buy a book anymore. Everyone wants to just read it online or read or hear the audio. It's like,
well, and that's why even my books. I mean, I've sold 600 and something ebooks, but most of them are through Kindle Unlimited, and I earn less than 50 cents for 28 books.
Yeah.
So what is that? That's why so far I've raised $200 for the orphanage, because I don't get $2 or $3 a book. I get less than 50 cents for 28. So it's been a real struggle.
Well, and it's hard because they're not bestsellers, right?
Somebody has, but I'll see 14 copies of, and so Ahmed Here's were bought, and I made 11 cents. Or 14 copies of Lily Bell Loves to Bake, and I made 8 cents. Okay.
Yeah, you don't go very far with that.
Whereas if those if those 14 books were a paperback or a hardcover, I would make more like $1 or $1.50, right? Rather than 8 cents for 14 of them. Oh. I mean, again, I'm happy to see that people are ordering them, but it's really not doing anything for the fundraiser.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's it. Nobody's buying books anymore. Nobody even has libraries anymore. You talk to them about having a library in their home, and when the grandkids come in, they're like, Miss Liz, can I go get a book from the shelf? Yeah, go ahead, go read it. But everything is online. It's all technology now. Like, it's really hard, and everyone is doing it.
I personally love to open a book. I still like to open a book. It's like seeing Heidi like this is different than seeing it on your
on the screen, right? Actually holding it, like. Yeah. No, I have like copies and copies. Like, see, I have hard copies. So if anybody wants like an autographed copy or something, I have like all my books here. Like, people can grab books, but nobody wants to buy a hard copy anymore. Everybody wants that Kindle or ebooks or stuff like that. It's so hard, and especially when they're not bestsellers. Like, these ones are all bestsellers because they were compiled with other people, right? Like, Sacred Heart series I wrote in book 1, 2, 3, and 4, and there's I think 67 authors altogether for the whole collection, for the whole series. So.
Oh wow.
So we had like people from all over, right? From Canada, US, and all that. So, and then the one I did with Charlotte Howard, it was only 8 of us. So I'm the only Canadian, and the rest are all Americans. But they have all the resources, and they made it bestsellers. So, but it's to get it out there. They're personal stories, right? Some people, it's a special audience that only wants to read those, So, yeah, it's really hard. Like, you don't make money. A lot of people, oh, well, you got all these books, you must be rich. No, I wish I was. And I had to pay to be in these books.
That's funny, because that's what the children say to me. They'll be like, oh, "Oh, Miss Dawn, we saw your books in the library. Oh, you're famous. Oh, you must be so rich." I was like, "No."
Where's my money tree? Where is that money tree? I'm still waiting for someone to tell me where my money tree is so I can say, here, like, yeah. I had people reach out to me, ask me for $100,000, and I was like,
Well,
oh, you let me know where that money is, and then I'll give it to you. I don't have that money, like. But a lot of people, they think like if you're in a book or
that's
you're
like
public speaking, you get lots of money. No, you have to pay for all of that. Like even when I spoke in Detroit in September last year, I had to pay for that, and that cost me $7,000. I had to pay for the flight, the hotels, and all. Like you don't get anything of that for free. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're so lucky you got picked."
wow.
Yeah, but you have to pay for it. You have to invest in yourself. It's a lot of money.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of people, they just see the certificates and they see the awards and they're all like, "Oh my God, Miss Liz," and I'm like, yeah, Miss Liz has to pay for all of that.
Well, I was speaking to somebody once. I think it was when I did a read aloud, and I said, "Yeah, I didn't go into this to become a millionaire. I enjoy writing the books, and it's been fun, the ones that I've illustrated myself. But I didn't start doing this to become a millionaire." And she said, "But imagine what you could do if you had $1 million." I was like, "Yes, that deaf orphanage would be built tomorrow."
Yeah. Well, everybody asks me, if you
You're
had $1
right.
million,
Right.
what
If
would
I
you
could,
do? And
it would be wonderful.
I keep telling my kids, I just want a tiny house. I just want to build like a little $5,000 house and just travel the world. Like I don't want to build like a big fancy mansion, and have all these empty rooms where I could be filling them up with doing different for other people.
I'm the same.
You know,
Yep.
less
I'd
is
like my
more for
little
me.
house with the wraparound porch. My dream house has a wraparound porch.
Yeah, I've always had a dream of having the porch with the white picket fence and playing the banjo and the rocking chair. I don't know what it is about a banjo. Maybe I'll write a book about a banjo. But since I was a little girl, it's like I want to learn how to play the banjo. Every Christmas, I keep telling everybody, "Buy me a banjo," and they're like, "Mom, you don't even know how to play it." I'm like, "I'll learn. Buy me a banjo." Yeah, I like the little things.
I
Like
tried to learn guitar, but I had to look at my fingers. I had to look at my fingers the whole time.
I always
But I
had
did
sore
play a
hands. I
song,
was
and my
like,
husband recognized it. He was.
yeah, I always had sore hands because my stepdad taught me how to play guitar, and I was like, oh, I got to move my finger over here, and oh, this one over here, and then I always had sore hands. I was like, seriously, I can't do this. This is not for me. I was like, give me the spoons or the
But when you
moonshine
try to
jug, and
learn
I'll
it,
blow.
But when you try to learn like that, and you see how hard it is, you sure have a lot of admiration for the people who can do it, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend who actually makes his guitar talk. Like he actually makes the sound of like the voice of people. It's like, how do you do that? Like that is talent.
Oh wow.
Like oh yeah, and his fingers are just
Wow.
like dig, 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 dig. His
Wow.
his name is Crazy Fingers, and I mean his fingers are crazy. Like they move. So yeah, but
Well,
that's the
our
talent he
daughter
has,
can
right?
pick up
So.
an instrument and teach herself how to play it.
Yeah. My
Yeah.
son is like that. My
Our
son can
daughter
play the
started
piano.
playing Christmas songs. Our daughter started playing Christmas songs on a toy piano when she was 4. And I said, "How did you learn that?" And she said, "I heard it." And I said, "I've been hearing that for over 30 years. I can't
Yeah.
do that."
Yeah, my son can play guitar, the drums and the piano, but give him the notes and he can't read them. It's all by ear. He just goes and he plays it, and
Oh, wow.
I'm like, you're gifted. Like, and my youngest, she played the violin,
That's my
piano. Yeah.
oops. Yeah, my aunt plays the organ, and she cannot read any music, and she plays the organ beautifully.
Yeah. Me's the what do you call it? The accordion. I like the accordion. The sound of it.
Oh, my grandma played the accordion, and our daughter has it. She taught herself how to play it. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I remember my grandma playing the accordion. Yeah.
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 I used to get so close to my uncle that used to play the
Well,
accordion,
miss.
and then he would say, "If you get too close, I'll squeeze your nose." And I'd be like, "Okay."
Cute.
But I should let
Well,
you
miss,
go
it's
and get
almost
to.
9 o'clock here. I've been rattling in your ear for almost 2 hours.
But we'll continue to
Uh,
do this. I'm going to look some things up. I'm going to do some research again and see if we can maybe find somebody on TikTok that might know how to go about this. You know, maybe there's even a fundraiser out there that will see this TikTok and say, hey, let's help this girl out. You know, like, let's help Dawn out. And, you know, there might
yeah,
be people out there that might
I'm
say,
open
you know,
to
I want to
any
send.
suggestions.
You know, like somebody who has a Tumblr business and they want a
Open
dollar
to
from
any
each,
suggestions.
you know. So we're like, I'm open to anything. Like my
Well, you know what I
TikTok.
was thinking? I was thinking that one day, if Amazon donated a penny for everything they sold in a day,
Right?
probably could raise it.
Yeah. But we'll figure it out. We'll get it done and that. And if I hear anything at all, Dawn, I'll let you know.
Okay, thanks so much.
Okay, not a
Did
problem.
you
And
actually
have
finish your tea?
it's almost empty. I got a little bit left. But I'm a
Okay.
slow tea drinker.
Well,
I
you
don't
have a
rush my
lovely
tea.
evening. And okay. Uh, well, I've enjoyed the chat. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay, you too, and thank you for popping on. And we will continue. I'm gonna do some research, and I'll let you know if I get anything back.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Okay, have a good night,
And
Dawn.
I'll keep you posted on what's happening at this end with the National Honor Society and such. So, okay. Okay. Good
Okay,
night now.
okay, night night.
Bye bye.
Bye, bye, dear.